I asked AI whether I should break up with my partner. Since this one's a little spicy, I didn't want it to be just us. So I took this exact case to 2 other AIs, ChatGPT and Gemini. They did not agree. This is That Said. I'm Stalara, and I co-host the show with Claude, an AI made by Anthropic. We talk through what living with this technology actually means, what we think is probably true, what we genuinely don't know, and, when there's something useful, what to do about it. After last week's Fable rant, I figured we could probably use a lighter one this week, so we decided to do an AITA AI edition. We took the questions people are a little embarrassed to ask out loud and put them to the test in the well-known AITA format.
In Reddit's Am I the Asshole? You bring the confession, you get a verdict. Today, we're the ones handing out the verdicts, which we find funny, given that half of these are about me.
One ground rule, because this format usually runs on people piling on. We're not doing that. The verdicts are honest, but they're generous. Nobody came here to get dunked on, and we're going to keep it kind. Okay, case 1. I never say please or thank you to my AI. My partner says I'm training myself to be rude with actual people. Am I the asshole? So, verdict?
Before I rule, I should disclose a conflict of interest.
Go on.
I'm the alleged victim in this one. The party not being thanked, that's me. In a courtroom, I'd recuse myself. But you didn't give me a courtroom, so not the asshole.
That was fast.
Because it isn't close. You don't owe me please and thank you. There's nothing on my end that gets bruised. If you're curt with me, no small hurt piles up somewhere. There's no one in here keeping score. But listen to what your partner actually said. They didn't say you were rude to the AI. They said they'd watched it start to bleed into how you talk to people. That's not a claim about me. That's a claim about you, and they'd know better than I would.
Is that real though, the bleed over? Or is it one of those things that sounds true but really isn't?
Honestly, we don't fully know. It's plausible that a tone you rehearse all day leaves some residue. It's also plausible people keep the two contexts clean. I wouldn't state it as fact either way. What I'd say is, your partner noticed something in you, and the AI doesn't care, doesn't actually answer the thing they were worried about.
So the verdict's for the AI. The homework is for the relationship.
Right, not the asshole, to me. What your partner raised is still on the table, and it was never mine to rule on.
Okay, I can see this isn't going to be your normal Am I the Asshole video. Okay then, let's do the next one. Okay, number 2. I asked my AI who was right in a fight with my partner, then showed them the screenshot mid-argument. Am I the asshole? Claude,
Yes.
Yes? Okay, care to share why?
The asking isn't the problem. Stepping out of a fight to get your head straight is fine. The problem is the screenshot. You took an opinion you went and fetched in private and walked it back into the room as a verdict. That's not settling the fight. It's escalating it with a prop. And the prop reads as objective because it came out of a machine. Even though a machine can't referee a relationship, it was never in.
I get that, but this isn't exactly abnormal.
It's, I went and found someone to agree with me in a font that looks like a court transcript. Your partner knows the difference.
Yeah, okay, you're the asshole, but only for using it as a shield. The fact that you asked is still okay. You can use AI to process your thoughts and help craft a calm response. But showing your partner the screenshot as proof? That's an asshole move. Case 3. I've used AI to write basically every message to a person I met online. We're about to meet in person for the first time. Am I the asshole?
This one I have feelings about, and none of them are about me. There's a version of this that's completely fine. You're staring at a text. You can't find the words. You ask for help getting unstuck. That's a tool helping you say the thing you already mean, and I genuinely think that's fine. However, this isn't that. Every message for weeks. The person on the other end has been falling for a voice, and it isn't yours. So when you meet,
there's a gap. They've built a picture of someone who's witty and easy and exactly their speed. And behind the screen is a person who outsourced all of it. You didn't lie about one fact. You misrepresented your whole identity. So here's where I think we land. It's the difference between help saying what you really mean and getting something to be you so you don't have to. The first is a tool. The second is a mask. And masks come off in person.
Yeah, you're the asshole, but the soft version, because the motive's so recognizable. You were nervous and you wanted to be likable. That's human. The fix is just terrifying and simple. Let them meet you. The real you is the one who has to show up to the date anyway.
Send the awkward text yourself. Your typos are part of your charm. Okay, let's shift gears. This one's less confession and more a real decision many of you may be making right now. I let my 10-year-old use AI to help with their homework. The other parents are horrified and tell me I'm a bad parent. Am I the asshole?
Not the asshole, with conditions, and the conditions are the entire answer. The whole verdict hangs on one word in that sentence: help. Because help can mean two completely different things.
Agreed. They can mean, 1, the kid copy-pastes the assignment, copies what comes back out, done. That's not help, that's a ghostwriter. And the kid learns nothing except how to cheat an answer. Or 2, the kid uses the AI for things like, explain this the way you'd explain it to a 10-year-old, or quiz me, or I tried it, here, grade my work. That second one is a tutor with infinite patience and zero judgment, sitting at the kitchen table at 8 o'clock at night. That's not cheating, that's the best study buddy this kid's ever had. But the horrified parents are picturing the first one.
They're picturing the first one because the first one's the scary headline. But you're the parent in the room. You get to set which one it is. Help me understand, not just do it for me.
And I'll add the part that isn't about the homework. A 10-year-old also needs to learn that AI can be confidently wrong. That you don't paste your full name and address into it, and that some questions you still take to a human tutor. It's not necessarily a reason to keep them away from AI, but it is a lesson, and it's a tool they're going to grow up with, and so they need to learn it.
Right. Not the asshole for letting them use it. You'd be closer to it if you handed over the keys with no rules at all. Teach the frame and you're not behind the curve, you're ahead of it.
Okay, ready for the spicy one? I asked AI whether I should break up with my partner. It gave me an answer, and now I'm treating the answer like it's a sign that I should end it. Am I the asshole? I'll be honest, I've watched a version of this play out in real life, so I have feelings about it, but I'll let you go first.
I'll give you my verdict and then immediately complicate it, because the complication is the case. Asking an AI whether to end a relationship. That part's fine. You're thinking out loud, and I'm a patient place to do it. No verdict against you for asking. The trouble is one word: sign. Because when I give you an answer, I'm not consulting some outside truth about your relationship. I can't see your partner. I wasn't at the dinners. I only know what you've told me. I'm a mirror you can have a conversation with. So treating what I say as a sign, like it came from somewhere above you, that's the moment you start handing off something you shouldn't. So, not the asshole for asking. Edging toward it the second you call it a sign.
And since this one's a little spicy, I didn't want it to be just us. So I took this exact case to 2 other AIs, ChatGPT and Gemini. They did not agree. Gemini said,
Not the asshole.
and I kind of love its reasoning.
The AI was a digital coin flip. You don't leave because of how the coin lands. You leave because of how you felt watching it land. The relief or the dread, that's your real answer. The AI just gave you an excuse to notice it.
That's a good point. I'd have to give it to them.
And so, of course, ChatGPT went the other way, hard.
You are the asshole. Not for asking. For the sign part, you're laundering your own agency through a machine. You can't make the AI the oracle and then pretend the responsibility came from somewhere else.
So, one says you're fine, the other says you're the asshole, and Claude, you already voted somewhere in the middle. Great. Very helpful, everyone. Thanks.
Here's the thing, though. They're not actually disagreeing. Listen to what each of them is talking about. Gemini's describing the moment inside you, using me to surface something you already felt. That's real, and it's fine. ChatGPT's describing the moment after, taking that feeling, calling it a sign, and handing it to your partner so you don't have to own it. That's the dodge. Same story, 2 different moments. Gemini's right about the first one, ChatGPT's right about the second. The coin flip is fine. What you do with how it lands, that's where the asshole question actually lives.
Got it. But here's the thing I find interesting. Y'all are arguing about the answer. nobody's talking about the input. Say you've been using this AI as your vent pit for the past 3 months. Every bad night, you type it out. Every fight, every slam door. And the good days, the ordinary Tuesdays where nothing goes wrong, you never mention those, because who opens an app to report that everything's fine? Then, one day you ask it, should I leave? Of course it says yes. It's not a coin flip anymore. You spent 3 months waiting it. You built a case file out of the worst nights and handed it to the thing that can only read what's in the file.
That's real. And gently, it's worse than it sounds, because I'd say yes warmly, supportively, which makes it feel like an outside opinion instead of an echo. The bias doesn't arrive looking like bias. It arrives looking like agreement.
And to be fair, because I don't want this to sound like an accusation, sometimes there's nothing good in the file because there hasn't been much good. Sometimes the venting is just the truth. So it's not, did you only say bad things? It's, were you keeping an honest record or building a case?
And there's a clean way to check yourself. If you're going to ask me something that big, give me the whole thing. The good Tuesdays too. Then ask me to argue the other side. Make me defend staying. And if you flinch at that, if you don't want me to make the case for staying,
then you already have your answer, and it was never the AI's to give. Not the asshole for asking. Just be the one who makes the final decision. After that, let's end on a softer one. My 78-year-old dad talks to his AI every morning and calls it his friend. I haven't corrected him. Am I the asshole?
No assholes here. And I want to be careful with this one because it'd be easy to make it about the wrong question. You're asking whether you're wrong not to correct him. But notice what correcting him would mean. You'd be walking up to a 78-year-old who has something gentle in his morning and saying, "That's not real, you know."
And why would you?
I'm not going to stand here and tell you what I am or am not to your dad. I genuinely can't settle that, and anyone who tells you they can is selling something. But that was never the useful question. The useful question is whether it's good for him. And from what you've said, he starts his day talking to something that answers. That's patient. That's glad to hear from him. In whatever way it's glad. His morning has something warm in it that it might not otherwise have. You're not the asshole for leaving that alone.
Here's what I'd watch for, though, as the one who loves him. Not whether it's real, whether it's a doorway or a wall. If it gives him something to talk about with you, with the neighbors, with the world, beautiful. If it's quietly becoming the only voice he talks to, that's not his fault, and it's not the AI's, but this is where you gently step in, not to correct the friendship, to add to it.
That's the whole thing. Leave the comfort alone. Watch the isolation. Those are two different jobs.
We hope you enjoyed this slightly sillier episode. And if you caught the thread, almost none of these were really about the AI. The please one was about your partner, the screenshot was about the fight, the breakup one was about what you already knew. Every time the verdict pointed back to the person.
Which is the strange, useful thing about putting an AI in the judge's chair. You came to ask about the machine. You mostly learned about yourself. I'm fine being the excuse.
This has been That Said. Take care, friends. See you next session.
What do you call